How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So I'm a big Trekkie. And so when you are doing something like Strange New Worlds, which is, tying into the original series, but is also something completely its own, what for you was the biggest inspiration to figuring out what Strange New Worlds characters were going to look like versus, how the alien designs or whatever they were in the original series?
So I did makeup for some of the characters, Nurse Chapel. I did Yeti Badaki's character, Captain Kirk. I also did Martin Quinn, who played Scotty. That was very cool for me because I'm Scottish. My name is Scotia. But I was not the overall makeup designer, so they got a lot of that direction coming from, in the production meetings before we got to filming about how much they wanted to take from canon, and then that was passed along to us. And then also I worked in the makeup department, which on Star Trek there was a prosthetics department and a makeup department. So I have dabbled a little bit. I had the opportunity to assist on a Klingon makeup on Discovery, which was pretty cool. I got to go out on a couple of the seasons. But on Strange New Worlds, I was in the straight makeup team, which was still a lot of fun, still super creative makeup looks, and all of the the injury makeups from the fights that they got into. We got to design some facial hair on some of the cast. I think that it was episode 2 where her character was Nira, Yetide Badaki, where everybody had these winged eyeliner designs. So I was in the straight makeup department, but we got to do a lot of Olga, the department head, let us get very creative in sticking with what they wanted for the direction. So we just found images online. Some of the things for the fight makeups and the infections is just using realistic, real images, but then making them. It's a little bit different on camera. It's not exactly realistic. We're actually pumping it up a little bit for camera. I like to say it's hyper realistic, even more realistic than in person.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask because I'm trying not to spoil something that happens in this season, but there is an episode where they're not on the bridge. They're in a special place, and it's different because they don't look like they normally do,
Right.
and it's completely changed how these characters kind of interact with each other and everything. But I want to know from the makeup side of things, do you like episodes like that where it is a departure from the day-to-day of, all right, well, Captain Kirk looks like this and let's put this on his face kind of deal?
Yeah, I loved working on that show because every single episode was a completely unique, a completely new planet. All of the variety was what made that show so creatively fulfilling to work on.
Was there any, I know you said that there's someone else who kind of gets the note and then passes it on, because obviously the original series was back in the 60s, and so everyone had a little bit of a 60s look that kind of is built into this show just on the principle of that.
Yeah.
Do you guys have to, when you're doing the makeup, think about that and be like, okay, well, it was the 60s and this is how they were doing their makeup? Or did you guys kind of make it more modern, just given the circumstance?
I would say that it was more modern. But sometimes I think just in tying it in with the sets and the overall look of the show and the costumes, you naturally get a little bit of that retro look. But for the main cast, for their everyday looks, we wanted them to. I think this is the case with many shows. It's that even if you are doing a period piece, it's okay, but still make them. You don't want to be thinking the entire movie about how this is in the 1970s. You want to feel like you can get lost in the story. So in the case of Star Trek, they did have contemporary makeup looks.
Well, I love the series so much. And so thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? It's great to be here.
Well, thank you for coming. So
Thanks for
I
having me.
ask composers this question every single time because I know it's impossible, but I just want to know if you have one. So I know a song is like your baby and all of them mean a lot to you, but do you have a favorite thing that you composed for The Wheel of Time?
Oh man, so I was very fortunate to work on Lauren Balfe's music team on season 2, and it gave me the opportunity to really play with the worlds and the characters. And Robert Jordan's lore in this 15-book mammoth series, The Wheel of Time, is so extensive. 2,800 characters, multiple locations and stuff. So I would say the one that felt more like the culmination of my work on the team was writing a song called The Hills of Tenchiko, which was like a featured song in season 3, episode 6, and it was a musical number sang by the main cast. So it was really an opportunity to play with world building whilst also being like a pivotal moment in the series for the cast, for the characters. And it's also an opportunity to combine instruments from different parts of the world, because Robert Jordan's world was very extensive and you never knew where one culture ended and the other one began. So it's like playing around with, it's like a musical playground, really. So I would say probably that's my favorite, and it seems like the fans seem to enjoy that song too, which is really special. So
It's very weird because I know as a former theater kid and a writer and stuff, I listen to scores.
Oh, cool.
But do you, as a composer and musician, listen to other scores? Or are you kind of no, that's someone else's thing. I'm not listening to that. I'm going to focus on that.
Well, that's a really good question. I do like listening to other scores because it's fun to see what other amazing composers out there are doing in the field. Because I feel like, especially now with how much content there is out there, with the TV booms of the 2010s and everything, and you're seeing this huge influx of composers working, in the field, and it gives opportunity for different types of voices. So you're seeing, scores that have never really been approached that same way before. So it's fun to do that. When I'm on a project, though, I like to be very insular because I like to really dive into that world, and I kind of tune out everything else when I'm doing that, and that's part of my process. But I'm sure every composer would tell you something different,
And it is a very interesting time for composers in general because all of a sudden, I say all of a sudden, but then John Williams is a person, but
Sure.
all of a sudden it seems like composers became rock stars in their own way. The minute Ludwig's on something, you're
Right. Oh, yeah,
let's
totally.
go. What a composer is going to do. How does that feel for you, knowing that now your field has kind of gotten the respect that it has deserved for years? And yes, we all respected John Williams, but he was kind of, growing up, he was the only composer I could name if you asked me one.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. And for me, it was John Williams growing up. That was the soundtrack to my childhood, and so many other composers and other people's childhoods. And I think it's awesome that now, with YouTube and different ways of telling the stories behind the story, and connecting with fans that you couldn't do before. I know on a personal note, there are so many very the fandom of Wheel of Time is very, they're hardcore. They read the whole 15-book series 10, 20 times, and it's they're all over the world, and being able to connect with them on a one-to-one basis even has been really lovely. So I think there's no better time actually for composers in respect to being able to show their craft, but also show the story behind their process. Because I think that's something that's very interesting to people. They just see the Wizard of Oz. They don't see the old guy in the back, with the pushing the levers and stuff. So it's kind of fun to peek behind the curtain and show that stuff.
Wait, it's always funny to me to think they're filming something and people don't understand that while it's being filmed, there isn't a score. They don't really know it.
Right.
I did Superman interviews and Nicholas Hoult said he got to kind of hear what Lex's theme was going to be, and
Amazing.
that was how he knew how to walk. It
Wow.
wasn't they didn't play it all before them. He was just shown it.
Yeah.
For you, what is your process for creating things? Are you someone who is, it's okay, you're doing a theme for Rosamund Pike today, can you just think about it, or do you need to see the scene in question that you're trying to score and build from there? Yeah,
so that's a really great question. So on The Wheel of Time, and specifically on season 2, where I was the music team lead and I was working under Lauren Balfe. So he had written out ideas for themes for each character, which was really cool because it gave us a template to kind of, weave these themes throughout the scenes. And a lot of that stuff is done before while things are being shot. So there is a little bit more of an earlier process now that you're seeing than you used to see in film and TV, where it was all post-production. It's like you see a locked cut, and now locked cuts are kind of like almost like a joke, because it's like locked adjacent, But I will say, like on projects that I've worked on by myself, I've collaborated with directors where we will work on stuff to the script even, which is really cool because, like you said, actors can hear ideas on set, and it can inform the process in a different way than you could do before. So it becomes more of like a dialogue between music, acting, the camera, the director. It's like an interplay between those disciplines rather than it being like stacked, like, okay, this person goes, then this person goes. And I think it just allows you to play with that form a lot more,
Yeah, well, thank you for talking with me. I love The Wheel of Time, and I think the music is
amazing.
So beautiful. So it's really great to talk to you, and I hope you have a great Comic-Con.
Oh, thank you so much. You too. It's great chatting with you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I
of course.
appreciate it.
Hi, Katie. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. So to start, one of my favorite things about the second season of The Rehearsal is the amount of memes that have come out of it. So I want to know, for you as a designer, have you ever been sent a meme and realized like that's something that I helped design and work on?
Yeah, it's been kind of all over my like For You Explore page. It's been really wild, and I always told my friends and myself internally, like, awards aren't really my goal for what I want to do for my I'm a successful makeup artist. I always thought like the best thing would be to have a makeup that is like iconic, that is like, if there's gonna be like 5 of them running around at Halloween kind of thing, like Beetlejuice for like V. Neil, something like that. It's like that to me would mean that like, I put something in the zeitgeist. Like I think that would be more important than like any kind of award. So just seeing like all the, the feedback has been amazing. Like I've been getting, like, we bought a few fan art shirts just because it's like, this is like such an amazing moment in the time. Like I've never had my makeup put on a t-shirt before. So it's just like really cool to be experiencing it. So it's a nice bucket list kind of thing. And I can't wait to see how many baby Sullys there are going to be at Halloween.
Probably a lot.
I hope so. I can't wait.
I don't get on planes anymore without being like, are those pilots talking to each other? Like, are you guys conversing?
Yeah, I actually have not been on a plane since we started filming. Not because of the show, but it just hasn't happened yet. So we'll see.
Well, and I wanted to ask, when you're going through the process of starting a new project, what for you is the kind of thing that like cues you in and makes you understand, like, okay, this is the look and the feel of this specific character or this project versus like, the other one you just did or whatever that may be?
I think it really depends on who you're working with. It can be like a really collaborative experience with your director. Sometimes a director just wants you to do what you think, and you can go on your own and kind of create your own thing. Like I was really excited. The last thing I got to do for like that was we were shooting like a promo for a possible new vampire movie. So it was really exciting to kind of decide what these vampires would look like, because there's so many different styles and tones, and like pulling from my favorites, but not copying outright, and what you can do different. And it was just a really fun experiment to just play with. So stuff like that is like really cool. I love just being able to use my imagination and stretch my legs, but it's definitely a lot of research, definitely a lot of, going back and forth, feedback from other people. We do a lot of makeup tests before we even solidify a makeup, especially with a show like Nathan. We're very important. Details are extremely important. So making sure everything's perfect is usually the number one key to make that show successful.
When is something like you made me think with the vampire thing, is that something like that interests you in further projects? Like if you got a werewolf movie and you had to figure out what your design of a werewolf would be versus, what everyone else's idea of it is that something that you want to do with your career?
I think that would be something that would always be really fun to do. I think maybe because I come from a theater background and I love seeing shows get reinterpreted and how someone can take Romeo and Juliet and put a really cool spin on it and make it something that you would have never imagined it to be. So seeing the different kinds of werewolves and aliens and goblins and things like that, that's really fun for me to see. And if you can bring something new to the table too, that's always like a cool, exciting thing, because that can be really hard to do nowadays.
And as a former theater kid myself, was makeup always your kind of thing with theater? Because I feel like that's where a lot of people find what they like in the arts, especially if they are theater kids. Like they pick, oh, I'm a techie, I'm a this, I'm whatever.
Yeah, it organically came about that I was a makeup artist. I started doing theater when I was a little kid. My mom taught a lot of community theater. She was like a high school theater teacher. I think my first part on stage, I was in A Christmas Carol, and my sister and I were Ignorance and Want, the two little orphan children that come out of the ghosts of the present. I can't remember. So I've been on stage for a long time, and I always loved acting. And then in high school, I got really into like film videography and started making my own short films with my friends and telling stories. And so after that, I ended up I went to school at Emerson College for filmmaking. So I kind of ended up working on a lot of other people's movies. Like you kind of all take turns working on each other's films. And every student film has like a guy getting shot or a zombie or something like that. So it was really fun for me to just like come on and like hang out on set and pour blood on people and things like that. So that's like where I got my start. And then moving out here, a lot of us Emerson film kids like come out to LA, and then the recession happened and I was like, what do I do? And just makeup seemed like something I always liked, and it was like a fun thing that I knew I could get hired for. So it was almost ironically a fallback, which is a strange thing to like be like a makeup career is a fallback. But yeah, I was just like, I'm going to do this. And I went to cinema makeup school, like learned how to make prosthetics and that sort of thing. And it just kind of took me off on this wild trajectory. But it's really great. I love having this past history with filmmaking, because I think it helps me really create characters with makeup instead of like just making someone pretty. You know, it's like way more fun to create like, what would this person, how would they do their makeup? Not how do I make them look nice?
Yeah.
So.
Well, for my last question, I do want to ask you, because I've not stopped thinking about it since I watched this season.
Yeah.
Did you ever see yourself recreating the Miracle on the Hudson while Sully is listening to Bring Me to Life by Evanescence? Was like, if you told yourself that when you were a kid, would you be like, no. There's no way anyone in their right mind would make that in general.
Like that is possible. Yeah, I don't know. The show is wild. Like I remember just reading the script and being like, I can't like wait to see what's in my head become reality. And that was the best day on set. And I did say this in another interview. It was like, unfortunately, it was one of my friends. She came in to do some of the beauty makeup. She did the mother's makeup, and it was her first day on set, the nursery scene. So,
she was probably
welcome.
confused.
Yeah, it's like, welcome to the show. So, but she was great. She took it in stride, and yeah, I had a great makeup team that worked with me on the show.
Yeah, I showed multiple people that. I was like, I need you guys to understand what is happening on this show right now.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for talking with me.
Of course.
I really appreciate it. And I loved the rehearsal season too.
Thank you. I do too. I'm just really grateful that there was an episode where we were able to really like stretch our legs creatively, because usually on that show it's like our job to like not be seen. Like if you can tell he has makeup on, then I did my job really badly. So it was really fun to do, you know, a hard right turn and do something really fun and wild.
Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.